Right now, as you're watching this video, there are creatures the size of school buses hunting in complete darkness. Animals older than entire civilizations drifting through water so cold it would freeze your blood in seconds. And monsters that can't survive without eating for half a decade. Welcome to Earth's most alien frontier, the deep ocean, where evolution didn't just create life, it created giants. Imagine descending into an underwater skyscraper, where each floor reveals increasingly bizarre inhabitants. At the top floors, we have the sunlit epipelagic zone, where dolphins play and colorful fish dance in crystal clear waters. Drop down to the mesopelagic twilight zone, and suddenly colors fade to silver and black as the last traces of sunlight struggle to penetrate. But we're going deeper. Past the 1,000-meter mark, we plunge into the bathypelagic midnight zone, where no natural light has ever touched. The only illumination comes from creatures themselves, living fireworks of bioluminescence painting temporary masterpieces in the eternal darkness. The pressure here could crush a human instantly, yet life not only survives, it thrives. And the deeper we go, the stranger it gets. Welcome to the abyssal plains, a landscape covering 60% of our planet's surface, yet more mysterious than the surface of Mars. Here, temperatures hover just above freezing while pressure reaches 600 times what we experience at sea level. But even this isn't the bottom. The deepest trenches plummet another 5,000 meters into the Hadal zone, where the pressure becomes so intense it could compress a foam cup into a marble. Yet in these crushing depths, where logic says nothing should survive, we find some of the most remarkable creatures on Earth. Giants that dwarf their surface cousins and challenge everything we thought we knew about life itself. Food in the deep ocean doesn't grow, it falls. When surface creatures meet their end, their remains begin a slow-motion blizzard called marine snow. Bits of dead plankton, fragments of fish, and other organic matter drift downward like an underwater snowstorm, feeding an entire ecosystem that exists in perpetual winter. But here's the problem. Most of this precious cargo never makes it to the deepest regions. 90% gets consumed on the way down, leaving only scraps for the creatures living in the abyssal depths. It's like trying to survive on the crumbs that fall from a table 3 stories above you. This scarcity created one of evolution's most ruthless competitions. In the deep, being small means being lunch. Every tiny fish, every miniature crustacean faces an army of hungry predators lurking in the shadows. The solution? Don't be small. Grow so large that instead of being prey, you become the predator everyone else fears. And nowhere is this more spectacularly demonstrated than with the ocean's most legendary monster. For centuries, sailors told tales of massive tentacled beasts capable of dragging entire ships to watery graves. Scientists dismissed these as fantasy until specimens began washing ashore. Evidence of creatures so massive they defied belief. The giant squid remained one of Earth's last great mysteries, a living legend that had never been photographed alive in its natural habitat. That changed in 2004. When researchers finally captured the first images of a living giant squid in the twilight zone. What they discovered was both magnificent and terrifying. A creature measuring 13 meters from tentacle to tail, as long as a school bus, and weighing as much as a small truck. Their eyes, the size of dinner plates, are among the largest in the animal kingdom, perfectly adapted for detecting movement in the eternal darkness. These aren't sluggish bottom dwellers. Giant squids are sophisticated hunters equipped with 2 extraordinarily long feeding tentacles, lined with rotating hooks and suction cups. When prey ventures too close, these tentacles shoot out like biological harpoons, snagging victims with lightning speed. Their size allows them to hunt virtually anything in their domain. Fish, smaller squids, even the occasional shark unlucky enough to cross their path. But impressive as the giant squid is, it's not even the largest cephalopod in the ocean. That title belongs to an even more mysterious creature lurking in the Southern Ocean's deepest waters. But what scientists discovered about this ultimate giant would shatter assumptions about what it means to be a top predator in the deep sea. Meet the colossal squid, the largest invertebrate on Earth, and possibly the most energy-efficient predator that has ever lived. While shorter than their giant cousins at around 10 meters, colossal squids are significantly heavier, with specimens weighing between 500 and 700 kilograms. Their tentacles aren't just lined with suction cups. They're armed with rotating hooks that can swivel 360 degrees, making escape virtually impossible once they've grabbed hold. But here's where things get truly fascinating. Despite being massive enough to battle sperm whales, the colossal squid moves through the water like it's swimming through molasses. This isn't a design flaw, it's evolution's masterpiece of efficiency. The colossal squid operates on what scientists call Kleiber's law taken to an extreme. This biological principle states that as animals get larger, their metabolism doesn't increase proportionally with their size. A horse doesn't need 1,000 times more food than a mouse, despite weighing 1,000 times more. Instead, metabolism scales at about 3/4 the rate of size increase, making larger animals inherently more energy efficient. The colossal squid has pushed this efficiency to mind-bending levels. Researchers estimate these giants burn only 45 calories per day and require just 30 grams of food, roughly 1 ounce. A single adult fish could sustain a 500-kilogram colossal squid for over 6 months. That's 600 times more efficient than other predators of similar size in the Southern Ocean. This incredible efficiency comes with a trade-off: speed. Rather than chasing prey through the water in dramatic underwater battles, colossal squids are ambush predators. They drift motionless in the darkness, waiting for prey to wander within striking distance of their hook-lined tentacles. In a world where food is scarce and energy conservation is survival, patience becomes the ultimate weapon. Their enormous eyes, the largest of any animal at 30 centimeters across, aren't for hunting. They're for avoiding becoming someone else's meal. Because despite their size, colossal squids still have predators, most notably sperm whales that can dive to crushing depths for these protein-rich giants. The relationship between size and survival becomes even more extreme when we venture into the coldest regions of our planet's oceans. Here, where water temperatures barely climb above freezing, we encounter creatures that challenge not just our understanding of size, but of time itself. Swimming through the Arctic's deepest waters is a predator so ancient that individuals alive today were hunting when Christopher Columbus first set sail for the New World. The Greenland shark represents one of evolution's most extraordinary experiments in longevity, with lifespans that can exceed 5 centuries. These sharks grow slowly, but reach impressive sizes, up to 7 meters long and weighing as much as 1,400 kilograms. But size isn't their most remarkable feature. Scientists have discovered that Greenland sharks are the longest living vertebrates on Earth, with some individuals potentially living over 500 years. The secret lies in their environment and metabolism. In waters that hover between -2 and 7 degrees Celsius, everything slows down. Chemical reactions proceed at a crawl, cellular damage accumulates slowly, and metabolism drops to barely detectable levels. These sharks don't even reach reproductive maturity until they're around 150 years old, an age when most humans would be considered historical artifacts. Determining their age requires a fascinating technique. Scientists examine proteins in the shark's eye lenses that form before birth and never degrade. By carbon dating these proteins, researchers can estimate age with surprising accuracy. One 5-meter female was determined to be between 272 and 512 years old. But longevity in the deep comes with a price. Most Greenland sharks are completely blind, their eyes clouded by parasitic crustaceans that attach permanently to their corneas. Imagine drifting through pitch-black freezing water for centuries with parasites constantly gnawing at your eyeballs. It's the existence that seems more like a curse than a blessing. Yet these ancient giants persist, scavenging whatever they can find in the Arctic depths. Their stomach contents reveal an eclectic diet: fish, squid, seals, and occasionally polar bears, horses, or reindeer. that have somehow found their way into their domain. They're living garbage disposals, cleaning up the Arctic Ocean one meal at a time. The patterns we see in giant squids and ancient sharks become even more extreme as we descend to the deepest reaches of our planet. In the Hadal Trenches, those narrow V-shaped chasms that plunge 11,000 meters below the surface, pressure becomes so intense it would instantly crush any surface dweller. Yet here, in Earth's most extreme environment, we find some of the most dramatic examples of deep-sea gigantism ever discovered. Amphipods, tiny shrimp-like creatures that typically measure 5 to 20 millimeters in shallow water, become absolute giants in the Hadal depths. The supergent amphipod can reach 34 centimeters in length, transforming from the size of a gnat into something resembling a guinea pig. These aren't isolated cases but entire communities of oversized invertebrates thriving where life seemingly shouldn't exist. Giant isopods push this trend even further, growing up to 50 centimeters long, roughly the size of a football. Compare this to their terrestrial cousins, the pillbugs you might find in your garden, which max out at 6 millimeters. It's like finding mice the size of elephants. These deep-sea giants face challenges that would defeat most life forms. Food is so scarce that giant isopods have evolved the ability to survive over 5 years without eating, a feat accomplished by drastically slowing their metabolism and entering a state resembling suspended animation. When they do encounter food, they gorge themselves to the point where they can barely move, storing energy for the inevitable lean times ahead. The crushing pressure at these depths actually changes the physical properties of water itself. What we experience as a liquid becomes viscous, almost syrup-like. Larger body size may provide these creatures with biomechanical advantages, allowing them to move more efficiently through this thickened medium while also improving their respiratory efficiency in the oxygen-poor environment. But even with all these adaptations, it's difficult to understand how there could be enough food at these depths to support such giants. The marine snow that sustains most deep-sea life barely trickles down to the Hadal zone. 90% never makes it past the twilight zone, leaving virtually nothing for the deepest inhabitants. So what are these giants eating? The answer reveals one of the most surprising discoveries in deep-sea biology. Scientists studying the supergent amphipod made a shocking discovery. These creatures possess a unique enzyme specifically designed to break down plant matter. This was puzzling because absolutely no plant life exists at Hadal depths, and the amphipods wouldn't need such an enzyme to process the tiny bits of algae in marine snow. When researchers tested this enzyme, they discovered something remarkable. It could convert sawdust and wood pulp directly into glucose, essentially turning wood into sugar. Even more intriguingly, the enzyme's activity increases. Trees that once swayed in mountain forests thousands of miles away become gourmet meals for creatures living in Earth's most extreme environment. These amphipods have evolved to become underwater termites, capable of extracting energy from wood that has journeyed from land to the deepest depths of the sea. It's a reminder that even in the most isolated environments, connections exist. A tree falling in a distant forest might eventually feed creatures living 7 miles below the ocean surface, in darkness so complete that no photon of sunlight has ever penetrated there. The deep ocean's giants exist in a world so removed from ours that they might as well be aliens. Yet their survival depends entirely on the health of ecosystems we can see and touch. Climate change alters ocean chemistry and temperature patterns that affect deep-sea currents. Plastic pollution creates toxic marine snow that poisons the food web from surface to seafloor. Overfishing removes crucial links in the food chain that connects shallow and deep waters. Perhaps most troubling is the emerging threat of deep-sea mining. Companies are preparing to scrape the seafloor for rare earth minerals, potentially destroying ecosystems that took millions of years to develop and house creatures found nowhere else on Earth. These ancient communities of giants could disappear before we even fully understand them. We live on a planet where 500-year-old sharks drift through Arctic waters, where squid the size of school buses hunt in eternal darkness, and where creatures have learned to eat wood in the deepest trenches. These giants represent millions of years of evolution responding to Earth's most extreme challenges, creating life forms so specialized and remarkable they seem like science fiction. Yet we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about these deep-sea realms. We spend billions searching for life on distant planets, while incredible alien creatures live right beneath our feet, separated from us by miles of water instead of light years of space. Every deep-sea expedition reveals new giants, new adaptations, and new connections between the surface world and the abyss. These creatures remind us that life finds a way not just to survive, but to thrive in conditions we once thought impossible. They are living proof that our planet still holds mysteries as profound as any we might discover among the stars. The giants of the deep ocean are more than biological curiosities. They're testaments to life's incredible creativity and resilience. In a world often stripped of wonder, they remind us that mystery and majesty still exist, drifting in the darkness, waiting to be discovered. And perhaps most importantly, they remind us that we share this planet with creatures so extraordinary that losing them would diminish not just the ocean, but our own capacity for awe and wonder. In the deepest, coldest, most pressure-filled environments on Earth, evolution didn't just create survivors, it created giants, and their story is far from over. That's a wrap on today's wild journey. But here at the Zoo-phoria show, we're just getting started exploring nature's most incredible stories. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering the shocking, hilarious, and downright unbelievable truths about the animals sharing our planet. Your next favorite animal fact is just one click away.